Let me explain to you exactly how the fight on Sunday is going to go and why I'm so angry that I'm probably right about this. Ciryl Gane versus Jon Jones is going to start with Ciryl Gane winning the first two rounds because he's a rangy, good striker with good hands, which means Jon Jones is not going to like that. That's something he's always had a problem with. He's going to lose the first two rounds because of that reason. The third round, he's going to edge out just slightly because as his experience and IQ starts to kick in, he's going to start to figure out Ciryl Gane while Ciryl Gane is going to lose IQ, relatively speaking, because he's not as experienced. And there's a lot of evidence of that, like his leg lock on Ngannou to lose the last round. He freaking accidentally took bottom position in that fight, trying to grab a submission when he could have just rode on top and finished the round. That's just proof of bad IQ and experience. And Ciryl Gane still new to this. He's only been doing it like a few years. So what's going to happen is he's going to lose the last two rounds in boring fashion while Jones' wrestling starts to take through. And by the way, people are saying that his wrestling won't go through because Ciryl Gane's too big and heavyweight's a different weight division. Daniel Cormier went from light heavyweight and he went up and knocked out the heavyweight champion and submitted top heavyweight contenders with no problem. You remember the guy, Daniel Cormier, the guy that Jon Jones KO'd and took down in some parts of their fights? That guy. So all evidence points to if a light heavyweight bulks up, they're fine at heavyweight. Their power, everything else translates over pretty well. So there's that. The wrestling should work. And while I think he's going to be too fast and too rangy and have good hands, like I just said, and steal the first two rounds away, those last three rounds, and especially the championship rounds, Gane doesn't have that experience. Jones is going to figure out his style with his IQ, his like jack of all trades fighting style, because that's his fighting style. He knows all of the things about MMA really well, so he can use all of the techniques against someone and eventually find their weakness and start exploiting it. That's what Jon Jones does. He has good composure. He stays calm. He doesn't take shots badly. He takes them really well. He moves away. He stays defensive. Moves with the shot. He doesn't ever walk into a shot. And he's got a good chin. And all evidence says that his chin should hold up at heavyweight. So he wins the fight. We get heavyweight Jon Jones champion. After the fight, he goes home. He meets his wife. His wife's like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you, honey." He's like, "What?" Knocks her out cold. Gets out a suitcase full of cocaine, stuffs his face into it, and inhales it through every hole in his face, including his eyes, by the way. He then runs down the street naked, screaming, head-on collision with a police car, and we see him on the news deadlifting the wreckage of the police car while SWAT members pile around him and subdue him. Maybe not quite in that fashion, but you know what I'm saying. He's going to lose the belt again. He's going to pop for roids. He's going to do something stupid. He's going to beat his wife again. And it's so upsetting that this is our GOAT. It's so upsetting that he's probably going to win by all the evidence I have that I've been watching. I've been watching the fights. I like analyzing MMA. Everything I have here, I think he'll win. And I hate it. This is the GOAT of our sport. Do we see this in other sports? Do we see Tom Brady? Oh, yeah, sometimes he just beats his wife. Sometimes he just takes drugs and, I don't know, he pops for roids. But he's our GOAT. It's a fucking disgrace. He's a disgrace to the sport of MMA. And he's what we got to deal with. It'd be so good if he just got out. He just got on like a 4 KO loss streak. We could get him out of this bullshit and he could be back to just irrelevant. And then we could have a new GOAT and we put the sport forward. But you know, that's what MMA was trying to get out of for ages. People seeing it's just cage fighting with a bunch of criminals. That's what UFC wanted to leave. They wanted to leave that whole stigma. Jon Jones just continues that. Because I can bet you any money that as soon as he gets the belt, his narcissistic tendencies come back. He's going to be back to being an idiot. And he's going to lose the belt again one way or another. And I'm so fucking sick of this guy. We need this guy to lose. And the UFC thinks we need him to win. They're so hyped. They're put him back up. They want to make an example out of Francis Ngannou because he's recently left. They want to say we don't need him. The heavyweight division has Jon Jones. He beat Ciryl Gane way better than Francis Ngannou did. Francis Ngannou barely beat Ciryl Gane. You know, Jon Jones definitely beat him. We got him. That's actually, like, they think it's good for their sport. It's bad for your sport, guys. Because this guy's a domestic abuser. This guy's a cheater. Proven. This guy's a drug taker. I mean, it's only cocaine. It's not bad. But he's not a good guy. You shouldn't want him to win. You shouldn't be happy he's the GOAT. I understand a lot of martial arts guys, especially guys who like analyzing the sport, love his jack of all trades style. I want to make a video about that, about how he has every technique and how he stays calm and he analyzes and he eventually finds his opponent's weaknesses. Or back in the day when he already had them. We walk straight into the cage and just smash people because he'd use all their weaknesses against them. His integrated MMA style, the fluidity in which he links together all the parts of martial arts, it's great, yes. But we shouldn't be happy he's winning just because he has a good fight style. If anything, he's not even that entertaining. Nowadays, the Dominic Reyes Jon Jones, the Jon Jones I think is going to turn up to this fight, he's going to get decisions. He's not going to get spectacular KOs. He's not going to be that, the casual fans are going to be like, oh yeah, I guess he's the GOAT. The wife abuser. The guy who crashes his car. Like, I fucking hate it. I can't handle, everyone is talking about how he's the GOAT, and I'm like, that's great. He is. Technically, he has the most title defenses. He has the most wins, blah, blah, blah. And that should make you sad. You should be upset about that. Because our GOAT, the best person in our sport, is a loser. Imagine being Jon Jones, all that talent, all that money, all that achievement, and then you still find a way to do horrible things and be a shit person. I don't want him as the GOAT. No matter how this fight goes, I'm going to have a big reaction to it. Should return to this channel after the fight to watch my reactions because I'm going to live stream them. We're gonna have Jon Jones winning and me losing my mind and getting so angry about it. Or we're going to have Ciryl Gane winning and me losing my mind being so happy about it. This is a fight where I'm picking Jon Jones to win. I predict him to win. And I'm going to be really upset when he does. And I'm going to be rooting for Ciryl Gane the whole time. Just imagine an upset of Jon Jones getting KO'd. We can't even imagine it because we've never even seen it. We've never seen Jon Jones wobbled badly and put down and out cold on the floor. It's almost a surreal feeling. You know the first time you saw Conor McGregor out cold on the floor? You know the first time you saw some of these guys who we thought were invincible out cold? It is just it's a different feeling. It's a different, hype. It's going to be crazy if Ciryl Gane wins. And if he does, it's going to be so much better for the sport. We're not going to be in the shadow of Jon Jones. We're not going to have this garbage person as our GOAT. We're going to be moving on to better and bigger things. And how does Ciryl Gane win if he wins? The one way I can see it happening, maybe the heavyweight weight difference comes in to play here, even though the evidence says it doesn't, because Cormier didn't have trouble with it, and Cormier is scalable to Jon Jones, so it doesn't look like it does. But let's just say it does. Maybe Ciryl Gane, he's talented as hell. He's gotten this good in a short amount of time. Maybe him actually preparing takedown defense is good enough to stop Jon Jones' takedowns. And then if he does, I think he can steal 4 rounds away from Jones and win the fight by decision. I don't see the chin of Jon Jones being cracked because we never have. But I think Ciryl Gane does win a straight up match on the feet. I think everyone thinks that. So if we can't take him down, if Ciryl Gane actually preparing for Jon Jones wrestling and having a camp actually dedicated to stopping someone taking him down, maybe he does learn enough. Or maybe he gets taken down and goes for a leg lock and ends up in full mount and gets blasted by elbows. We haven't seen very good grappling from Ciryl Gane. We've seen submissions, but the submissions isn't dominant positions. Submissions isn't wrestling, where you're taking people down, you're holding them in certain positions. We saw him took Ngannou down, but it's just not enough evidence for me to say he can go on with one of the GOATs of the sport. Heavyweight wrestling really isn't the level of light heavyweight wrestling. If anything, what we saw from Cormier moving up is that when light heavyweights bulk up, move up, they're kind of just better than heavyweights. I know he ended up losing to Stipe, but it was close enough. And I think he just jumped straight up. He didn't even really bulk up or anything. So these light heavyweights are a bit more skilled. You get that generally when you go down in weight, you get more skill. And light heavyweights are just a bit more skilled. And so when they move up, they might just be heavyweights that are skilled now. Maybe that's actually the case. I predict Jon Jones to win. And then I predict him to go on a rampage in Las Vegas and destroy 7 cars, beat up his wife, have a cocaine binge, pass out on the floor in his own vomit, wake up with the title vacated, and him to ruin the sport again. Ruin another division. You fucking loser. Come back with my reactions for this fight because I'm going to go mental. Either way, Ciryl Gane, let's pray to the MMA gods Ciryl Gane can get this done. And we can be rid of this cokehead, a domestic abusing dickhead. Or, he can keep getting belts, being suspended, not defending them, losing the belts every time, every which way except actually fighting, Let's see what happens, guys. Come back for my reactions, because I'm going to lose it either way. I'm going to go crazy. If he fucking wins again, fuck Jon Jones.